Hi, in this short video, I would like to share my experience of preparing for the Google Cloud Certified Professional Data Engineer exam. The video is being shot freshly because I got certified just 2 weeks ago, so I hope that my tips and thoughts will be helpful for to those who are also planning to take this exam. Okay, so first few facts. I took the certification exam on August 4 and started preparing in March 2025, which means I had about 5 months to do it, to preparation. It seems like a long time, but I had no experience with the Google Cloud before, and I had a full-time job and, of course, family responsibilities. The official course from the Google Learning Path lasts more than 160 hours, which means it's an average of 8 hours of films, like recordings, texts, and practice laboratories per week. In addition, there are additional sources and repetitions which I also have read or have seen. Despite my lack of experience with the GCP cloud, I am a senior data engineer with almost 5 years of experience. So I would like to emphasize that my competences were extremely helpful in the learning process. Many labs required writing SQL queries in BigQuery and using Python or Java to write data pipelines in Dataflow. So thanks to my knowledge of these languages, I was able to focus on the new services offered by the Google and how they work. If I didn't have this specific knowledge, the learning could be longer because in addition to the Google specific services, I would also have to quickly learn Python syntax or try to understand why a given SQL query returned the result, the specific result and not another. In conclusion, I would like to point out that this certificate is rather not suitable for people who are just starting the adventure in the industry. I would say it's not beginner friendly. This certification covers a wide range of topics and assumes that you already have basic knowledge. So if you're a student or intern, even though such certificate may look good on your resume, it is probably not the best decision because you will not get as much out of the material as you could with more experience. Therefore, if you don't have any experience in data engineering, I recommend focusing on the basics rather, like read about the relational databases, write a basic data pipeline in the Airflow and Python. And only after a year, maybe around 1 year of, or maybe two of experience, you should return to the certification. The materials can really help you understand the good practices and organize your knowledge, but you need to have some background already. Yeah. Okay, and now we can move to the resources. So, as I already have said, the most important resource is definitely the official data engineer learning path. Here you've got the link, but also I would like to show you how it looks. So you've got the Cloud Skill Boost. It's the official website for learning Google. For different positions, not only data engineer. So here, if we go with the data engineer, we can see the path. I've got 0% because it's not my company account. So yeah, but on my company account, I have around 80% of completion. Okay, and here you can see that we've got different types of courses. In fact, so in the first like core courses are those with the from the 2nd to the 9. Those courses have everything inside them, so they are like the some kind of aggregation of additional resources, questions, checks, lectures, and laboratories. As you can see, we've got the videos, course workbook, and so on. And we've got the supplementary auxiliary paths, which, for example, build a data warehouse with BigQuery. And as you can see, those are only laboratories, so it's not additional knowledge, but just a practice. What I can say, the main core of learnings from this path. So those with the lectures are definitely crucial, and you should see everything, make notes out of them, and try to do as many labs as possible. And those additional laboratories are rather not very useful for passing the exam, but they can help you with the general understanding of the GCP and different services. So if you have extra time, then you should go for them and try to proceed with them. But if you are focused only on passing the exam, then those basics core courses from 2nd to 9 are those are the most important. And yeah, so here's an important difference. Anyone who has had formal education or prepared for another certification knows that studying for an exam and real knowledge are two different things. I knew from the beginning that I wanted to gain real knowledge and be able to work effectively on project with GCP technologies right after obtaining the certificate. If someone just wants to pass the exam at the lowest possible cost, there are probably better methods than diligently going to the recommended materials. But for me, the most important thing was to gain real knowledge and obtain a certificate as confirmation of your competences. For people who think the same, I suggest actually doing the labs. Some of them can last up to the 2 hours, so it's worth setting an uninterrupted block of time so that you do not have to repeat them, right? Sometimes the laboratories may be unavailable due to the technical issues on Google side. In such cases, it's best to wait. From my experience, some previously inaccessible practical exercises have indeed become available again after a few weeks. However, they might not always be fixed before your exam, and missing 2 or 3 labs due to the technical problems won't be a significant issue, but I recommend completing them whenever they are available. In the additional book materials, I found 2 items that thematically correspond to the requirements of the exam. The first book by Dan Sullivan is theoretically a guide to this exam, but you can see that it was written quite a long time ago. It is 5 years old and seems to be preparing for the old scope of the exam. Still, if you have access to it, it's worth reading, but I recommend checking the documentation or asking Gemini if the service described in a book has changed its name, extended its scope, or been discontinued. So depreciated, basically. But I highly recommend the second book by Adi Vijaya. I'm not sure how to write this surname. But this book is especially for those who are not very experienced in data engineering, because it not only covers theoretical bases such as data governance, data warehousing, ETL processes, but also provides like real-world examples of how to perform data engineering tasks. It's an excellent resource that includes an additional chapter with tips and information which really can help you pass the exam, like highlighting the most important topics. although it's not officially designed, yeah, it's not officially a exam preparation material, I really believe it's a truly worth attention. So if I had to choose which of the two books is more helpful, I would definitely pick this one of data engineering on GCP. When preparing for the exam, you will often come across links to the GCP documentation. If you are interested in something, it is worth reading the entire article, but I especially recommend three of them, which I consider necessary to pass the exam. If you were only if you were to read only 3 pages of documentation from the entire course, these should be the ones. They briefly describe the cloud storage, different tiers and use cases, possible options for transferring and migrating to GCP, so the transfer appliance, the data transfer service, and so on. And big table, big practice. It's in this article we've got the description of quite complicated concept of row K and the performance for a big table. And additionally, one of more difficult topics in the whole material is the issue of data of streaming pipelines in data flow. And this requires an understanding of windowing and methods of accumulation of results. Google recommends the lecture from Slava Cherniak channel, but for me, it's the left one. But for me personally, it was a bit complicated. The materials on the official Google Cloud Tech channel, which discuss various aspects of Apache Beam, not only windowing, but also implementation of Apache Beam in the form of data flow in general, seemed easier, and I recommend them more. Yeah, basically all links will be in the description, so you can check them out on your own. Okay, and in this slide, I've listed the key topics that need special attention, with the second point being the most important. Many questions relate to the scenarios that describe situations related to security, performance, or capabilities of several services in GCP. In such cases, you should choose the best option from the provided. Most of the questions are single choice, so you can act using the elimination method. But however, there is also a multiple choice question where you have to choose all the correct answers, because otherwise you get 0 points. Some questions may seem completely strange at first glance, but for the most part they are not tricky. You should not look for special tricks in them, because usually the answers that seem correct actually are correct. Still, you definitely need to maintain 100% focus during the exam. It is some kind of the race against time. Most questions will require several times reading and a moment of reflection, of thinking. And on average, we have less than 2 minutes for one question. And on my exam, there were several questions that concern concepts related to computer networks, networking in general. I'm not sure if that was a random situation or it's a common pattern, but I think it's worth refreshing this knowledge before the exam. It's not about the details like Wi-Fi protocols or standards, but rather about a general idea of how subnetworks connect and how a load balancer works and so on. So that's you should just maybe give it a try and make a quick look before the exam, some kind of the refreshers. Okay, and a summary. I have few certificates from Apache Airflow, from Microsoft Azure, but I think this exam is relatively hard. Okay, it's really hard in comparison to the other similar certificates on this level. I will repeat myself, but I think it's important that official path is the best source of knowledge, but it is not enough. Probably if you have no experience with GCP and you will just go to the official course, it's not enough because you will have additional questions more in depth for some services. You need to have the general understanding of how to connect different types of services like PubSub, messaging with data flow and BigQuery to build end-to-end data pipeline. Uh, it it you have this topic in the official course, but it's not at the level which is enough to pass the exam. From what I think, maybe I am a little too cautious, but yes, I strongly recommend to make something extra except the official documentation, official course. And I will repeat myself again, but pure experience in data engineering is really a big support. If you have, it's not a very big, you do not need a really long experience, but the most important part is that you understand the SQL, you can write some Python or Java code, and you've got the general knowledge of computer science, like networking, as I said, or basic performance problem, performance issue, computational, and so on. Yes, I believe that's probably everything. If you have any questions, you can write a comment. I will try to answer as fast as possible. And I wish you all good luck on the exam and take care.